Okay, started making a handle for the door. That's the template. There's a frog, but that'll go on there. Cut that out. I should bend that up. That's the bracket that holds the handle. Right, put the old table in straight away. Now I'm going to find my little piece of metal, which I always use, and I'm going to cut this out. There, beauty. Okay, I've cut those out, that piece out, and I'm just going to put the two bend lines on. And I haven't cut these angles out because it'll bend over more equally when I've cut that slot down. If I bend it over as one piece, then cut off the triangles, otherwise it'll bend from there up to there, and those bits won't bend over very well. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, lucky, this will go over easy. If I'm unlucky, it won't go over easy. But it's going over like butter. Is it on the line? Yeah. Okay. It's fairly decent. I'm just going to finish that off, and that's over with this. Just to nip it up. And I don't know, can you see that? I don't know. There. That has gone over quite nicely. Looks pretty 90 degrees, I should just check it. But it's gone right on the line, and it's not burred up the metal or anything, so that'll be easier to polish up later. And I put a piece of cardboard in that side just to protect the metal that side, although that piece there will be bolted down to the car in any case, so you won't see it, so that's alright. I'll just bend up this one, and then I shall cut the angles. But because I left these pieces in, yeah, it's bent in an even angle all the way over in one go. Nice one. Okay, because this is mounted at an angle in a vise, the saw will be difficult to start on that edge without sort of sawing at a notch. So what I do, get a file, get the cutting edge, put it on there, and start a flat. So now you've got a land for the saw to sit on and cut straight down, as opposed to trying to start on a sloping edge. Yeah, instead of starting on a sloping edge, you've got that little, you can't see it, a little flat. But you can file that in a bit bigger, but I'm only doing it for an example. I shall do it a bit better in a second, so that flat goes in and matches up with the line, so that I can cut away on that, exactly down that line, and I shall do on both of them and saw it down. Ideal. It works very well without slipping. Right, I started filing this piece out, and when you put it in the vise, to stop it squeezing it out, I made a little spacer piece. There he goes, so that I can position that in the vise horizontal, and that stops those two sides coming together, and then you can just sort of, but it's so darn tight it won't come out. You can flip it over, pop it in there like that, nip it up, and that just saves squeezing it all together. So that's all I've done there. Don't need it anymore. There. Well, I'll have it for the next one if it fits. There. Right, I should just finish this here. It's because the wire that works on the handle has to come up through at an angle right there. So I'll have to cut a slot out and the 2 bolts either side. Otherwise I would just put 1 bolt there, 1 bolt there. But I couldn't do that. Finished rough shaping up this piece. That's where it's going to go. About there. And that little bit there will be bent over. That's got to be bent down to fit the angle. And basically the handle, a block of metal in there. And the wire will come up through here and attach onto it, and the handle will be over here. So it will be sort of in around underneath this portion of the door. So that's that. Okay, here we go. Another highly safe exercise. I'm going to cut that block off with a slitting saw, and I'll see how it goes. I've done this before, so it should be okay. So I'll set it going. Okay, got it on a slow self-feed. A bit of coolant, and that'll cut it off better than I can do it with a hacksaw, and then I'll finish milling it up afterwards. So it's on a slow feed now. Yeah. And set up in a very crude vertical slide. That's what it comes off like. Couldn't hacksaw off as good as that, or as square as that. So job done. I've drilled one of the holes, and I've got to line up the other hole, and I've just put that crude pointer in the chuck, which I'm going to use just to locate it on the other center punch mark, and any adjustments up and down on the vertical slide. And I'll have to put the camera down for this, but it's only for crude within a few thou. I'm not trying to set up for gear wheels or anything like that, so I'll just do that a moment. Where I stopped was bang on, so I'll put that center drill in there, and I'm just going to center that, start that hole, and then I'll put the other drill bit in. That'll do. Swap over the drill bit. Okay, the drill bit swapped. I'll put this one through first, and then I'll stick a 7mm through. This is a 4, and that'll start the hole off. This is a pivot, whereas the other one, well, I suppose that was a pivot as well, but that's where the cable attaches, which will go around inside the door and work the door catch. This one's a pivot. On the surface, it's actually got the clamp on, the vice is clamping on. A handle will be screwed onto that, but that's later on. So I'll just, this is a bit tricky. Doing it with one hand. It's about to go through, I think. Okay, I'll come back to that. Back with the 7. Bit of coolant and my spray bottle that doesn't work. And that should go through like. And I got knife through butter. If I put this on feed, wow, it'll be beautiful. So I'm not going to put it on slow feed. Just don't need to. There we go. So that's that. Easy. New setup, end mill, and the block of metal. Now I've set it up the right height, and on the machine out 6mm there, and 6mm the other side, leaving just a piece in the centre. You'll see what that's for. Just making sure I've got that the right way round. Yeah. Okay. I'll set it off. Very simple view of what I'm trying to achieve. You can see one cut already. You can see the shape that I'm trying to machine away. I'm not going to be greedy, and I'm just going to take it steady. When I get near, I'll revert back to the dial indicator. I know that when that says 0, that'll be in there, so I've got to do that a second. Okay, nearly finished on this pass. I'm just I've got it on a slow feed this time, so I can hold the camera and film it, and you can basically see what's going on. Filled up my bottle, a bit more coolant, it's better. So I've got to mill out the other side yet. The idea is put a clevis around that remaining boss in the centre, and the pin will go through that small 4mm hole. But I've just got to go back to machining this. The last little bit I've just done to this is I've drawn a radius on there, and I've end milled off flats, just to sort of get rid of the circle by starting off, remove the most of it, and then undo it. Turn the piece, clamp it back down again, bring it back in, take off another flat, take it out, just, you know, turn it to the next bit, knock it down, tighten it up, bring it in, machine off the next flat until I've knocked off most of the corner. And what that's done, just removes most of it, and it leaves it, you know, just machined it off, little piece at a time. So now I've got to do is just smooth that with a file, and that allows that corner to rotate. So that's the part. Okay, I've rounded that little corner off just quickly with a file. You know, just rocking the file does do a better job than going that way, but balls it as long. So that gives a better curve. So I'll just knock that down quickly, and that little thing fits in there, and I'll use this as a pivot just for the second there, just to prove, and then the handle will be on there. And then you'll just open it by going like that, and then that hole, there'll be a clevis coming up, wrapping around there, that'll pull the cable, which will disappear inside the door, and then that'll pull the catch inside the door. So that's it. And then on here will be a handle screwed on, M4 down into this block of metal. I'm going to cut a piece of that off in a minute at an angle. It'll take a thread down through, still up through there. So that's about it. Okay, jump forward a bit. I put the handle on and made a pivot pin, and that's where I was machining out a part there. That's where the clevis fits around there, with the cable coming up through that slot. And basically that lot will go there, where underneath this section in the car, and you'll just lift that up, which will pull the cable, and the cable will go around and undo the door. So that's as far as I've got with that. Don't think it's too bad. All this will be covered in vinyl of some sort, so that will sort of sink into the padding into that as well, so it will sort of, I think it will sort of blend in with the black, or it's set off with the black, I should say. I think it'll look alright. There.